In a town where the streets always whispered secrets, there was a small shop called the Lantern Keepers. Its windows glowed softly at night, though no one ever saw anyone enter or leave. The shopkeeper, an elderly woman named Mara, had hair like silver threads and eyes that seemed to hold the memory of every evening ever lived. One winter night, a boy named Elias wandered in. He had heard the whispers of the town about the shop, and wanted to see if the tales were true. Inside, the air smelled of cedar and honey, and hundreds of lanterns hung from the ceiling, each flickering in its own rhythm. Mara greeted him without words, only a gentle nod that somehow felt like an invitation. "You can choose one," she said finally, pointing to the lanterns, "but it will show you something you have lost." Elias hesitated. He thought of the old oak tree in his backyard that had been cut down, of his dog who ran away years ago, of the summers he could never remember clearly. But the lanterns did not wait for hesitation. One near the center hummed softly, its light pulsing like a heartbeat. When Elias touched it, the glow expanded, filling the room with warmth. Suddenly, he was standing under the old oak tree again, hearing the bark creak as the wind passed through the branches. He felt the wet nose of his dog nuzzling his hand, the sun warming his face. He realized then that these were not just memories. They were moments he had forgotten. He had cherished. The lantern dimmed, and he found himself back in the shop, Mara smiling knowingly. "The lanterns remember what we cannot," she whispered. "Sometimes that is enough to bring it back to life, even if only for a moment." Elias left with a small lantern of his own, one that flickered faintly, but in its light, he could always find the echoes of things he had thought were lost forever. And though the town streets continued to whisper, Elias no longer felt alone, because now he carried a piece of the past with him, glowing quietly, like a heartbeat in the dark.